Welcome into the PHNX studios at the lovely Arizona Center. It is PHNX Suns. I'm your host, Espo, alongside Saul and Gerald. Gentlemen, how are you today?
I'm good.
I'm feeling a little bit more refreshed than I was 24 hours ago, which is good. I'm ready for the weekend also, but we're here.
I'm just glad you guys didn't burn it down with Lindsay and I gone yesterday. I wasn't sure what I was coming back to, but
I'm glad to see my friend Titter Time came back. You're going to owe me some money, buddy.
Is that the one you made the Harden bet with?
Him yep. And I think Black Sunday as well was the other two. I saved the screenshots just in case, because I don't want people to renege on their bets. So,
Hold on. What was the bet? Because I was out of commission.
I bet him each $100 that Harden is not going to be a Sun.
Yeah, no.
That's the easiest $200 I've ever made.
Holy crap, man. Yeah, that you might as well just Venmo that to Saul right now. All right. I thank you guys for holding down the fort, though. I had some food poisoning.
Zelle, by the way. I don't do Venmo.
Okay. Sell them. Bring the $100 to the studio, whatever the case may be. You freaking money transfer snob. But thank you for holding things down. I had a horrible case of food poisoning. I lasted through Vegas, and then freaking chicken got me the first day I was home.
That just tells you enough about Gerald and I's immune system that we were able to come back and still, bounce back with no problems.
Did you eat bad chicken? How about I bring you some bad chicken tomorrow? We'll see how your immune system holds up to it. Something that it certainly wasn't bad was a very nice article from ESPN's Brian Windhorst that dropped today on ESPN. Windy talking about the Phoenix Suns and in particular Mat Ishbia since he took over for this team. A lot of glowing. It felt like praise, quite frankly, for what Mat Ishbia has been able to do and his approach to things so far. What was the biggest takeaway for you guys in that article when reading it?
Just the level of consistency with what is being reported behind the scenes and what he's been saying to us since day one. He told us at his introductory press conference how aggressive he was going to be, how he was going to get his hands dirty and be in the weeds and be involved. And this article just backs that up. It sounds like he's been involved in every single deal that the Suns have made or tried to orchestrate. He's been aggressive, and I know a lot of people are wary of an overly aggressive owner. But so far, they've all been winning moves. They've all been moves dedicated to bringing a championship to the Suns. So we'll see how it goes. But I, for one, am a fan of the fact that everything he's telling us in these public pressers is pretty much the same thing he's telling people behind the scenes and how he's operating.
Yeah, no, I agree on that. He had a great quote in the article, too, if we can pull that one up. He said, "I don't believe you accomplish anything by being average. That's not who I am." Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of attitude that we are unfamiliar with in Phoenix over the 17-year period, 18-year period of the disgraced former owner. It was never about, average was acceptable, if not, the high water mark of the former ownership. And I like that when you're looking at what Mat Ishbia does, his eyes are much further than just being average.
One of the things that I liked about the article, I'll just say it like this. I didn't get emotional, but it just felt really good to know that you do have an owner finally. And I'm going to put everybody in the same category. Like, Coyotes, Cardinals, D-backs, owners that, from time to time they've shown flashes, but there's never been consistency in terms of doing everything you possibly can to put a winner on the floor. And it feels very good to know that Mat Ishbia is going to do anything he possibly can to get a championship caliber team here. And then more than that, just having a championship level experience in franchise as well. Like, even when times are bad, that doesn't mean that everything else has to be bad as well within the arena, the infrastructure, how you treat people, like so on and so forth. You remember going into the arena and seeing that ridiculously small Jumbotron that was built out of a cell phone, it looked like.
And the old Verizon frame on that bad
and you
boy.
Couldn't see anything. And then the experience of going to those games was kind of just average. And then you're watching a bad basketball team. Like, everything about that you can control could have been controlled at a much higher level. It took quite a while for things to kind of finally get renovated and changed up. And so I really appreciated that. And then the other thing about what Mat Ishbia was really focused on that I do appreciate that this article brought to light was there is that instant kind of new owner syndrome of wanting to do as much as you can right away to change whatever, right? But I feel like because of his track record at UWM, his track record in sports, and the relationships that he has in sports, I don't feel like he's necessarily in the same bank as all those other guys, the Steve Ballmers of the world, and even Sarver when he first took over. I don't feel like he's in that same kind of category because I feel like he has a decent amount of basketball knowledgeable people that are surrounding him. And I do feel like he does listen to some of his people about some of the decisions that they have to make. But he's given them full reign to make those decisions and go for it. And hey, I like that.
Can I be honest with you guys, the two of you, and I guess everybody watching and listening? There is part of this that slightly concerns me. And it's probably my PTSD from having seen it and heard it and been around it. But having an owner that involved in everything, being the guy that was a key negotiator in the KD trade, which this article refers to again, that he basically negotiated directly with the Nets owner to get the KD trade done, that he set up the meeting in, I believe it was New York City, with Bradley Beal, Josh Bartlestein, and James Jones, and they all sold Bradley Beal on the idea that he's intimately involved in every aspect of it. And that was one of the biggest knocks on Sarver, was he wouldn't let people do their jobs. He was involved in everything. That's scary.
But what's the difference? The difference is these are all winning moves that you're describing, and they're all moves dedicated to bringing a championship, not motivated by profits. Ishbia has consistently said, money, the thing about money following success and not the other way around. Like Robert Sarver's goal, it was control that he had in every decision. Ishbia's it seems like a level of excitement and dedication to accomplishing his goal of winning a championship. And that might just sound like caping for the new owner, but like they're coming from very different motivations in terms of being involved in everything. And I don't think if your aggression is to win and to put one of the best rosters we've ever seen the Suns have, that should be a bad thing. We can talk about what's going to happen in a few years if they don't win a title and they have to regroup because they have these massive contracts for an older Kevin Durant, an older Bradley Beal. But like, there's just a fundamental difference in terms of where that amount of involvement is coming from.
And the other thing I will add to that is Robert Sarver was very much about Robert Sarver. He wanted the credit for a lot of the stuff. He wanted to be the one that made the moves. He wanted to be the one that took this franchise to a championship in his own identity to pull away from Colangelo and his shadow. When you're talking about Ishbia, one of the selling points to Bradley Beal was not only about Bradley Beal being a part of this franchise, but how his family fit into this franchise as well, and that dynamic within the community and how they fit into that. He talks a lot about the family aspect, both at UWM and here. Like, I think that's just a far cry from where Robert Sarver's vision was and his motivation was. So I would definitely not put those two in the same category together whatsoever.
Yeah, I understand the motivation factor, and I think that's a big part of it. It's just some of those echoes of the past, hearing a guy want his hands and all that. But to your point, Gerald, and to your Saul, the move so far, you go, well, I don't mind him being involved. Right. If it's, hey, we're going to spend the money. Hey, come here. This is the way it's going to be. My question is, 4 or 5 years down the line, if things aren't good, how does it play then? Because that was always the thing. When things got bad, these kind of things are viewed in different ways. Like Cardinals, for instance, when the Cardinals were winning, nobody minded that Bidwell was heavily involved and making these decisions and around all the time. The second things started to get bad, that's when, on the field, that's when all these other things start to come out about things. So it's just, it's PTSD.
Sure. I also think that, in that case against against the Cardinals, right? I think there was a certain level of complacency that franchise had. They had some success, and then they didn't fix up the facilities. They didn't do all the things that you need to do to keep up with the Joneses. And Mat Ishbia definitely doesn't strike me as that type of individual, right? Like, I feel like if they don't have the best of everything, he's going to try and make it the best of everything. Yeah. And I think his DNA is just a little bit different. And also, like, there's a thing to be said about, like, you having a good quality GM and them being able to pitch somebody, and then this asshole getting in the way, like, that's and fair. Ruining a pitch, right? Whereas Mat Ishbia is the pitch. Like, he is the better salesman out of all of them in order to try and get said player to here. Like, he convinced KD, convinced Bradley Beal. Like, he is that dude. So I feel very much more confident about his time in there.
Yeah, another portion in this article was talking about James Jones in the front office, and in particular, how comfortable James Jones has been with this, because there's been questions. I mean, to say the least, there's been questions about what's going on there. James Jones sounds very comfortable, but are you buying into the way that this article positioned how things are working with the front office and the way James Jones fits into it?
I am. I don't think James Jones is on the hot seat. I think, listen, on paper, this offseason, he did everything opposite of what he did a year ago, and there's only been one dynamic that's changed, and that's the owner changing, right? Mm-hmm. And so you got to give him kudos for what he's done this offseason, the moves that he helped make, whether he made them by himself or he consulted with Mat Ishbia, whatever, however you want to break it down, he still had involvement in the decisions that were going along with this franchise. You can't deny that. And then the acquisition of all these minimums, free agents, like, he should be commended. What on paper, I don't think there's a lot of people out there that will be like, this team is trash or they're worse than they were last year. I don't think anybody could really say that if you watch Suns basketball for the last year. So I feel confident that he's going to be a part of the organization for a time being. Now, there might be some moves in terms of whether that be below him or above him that may happen, but I feel pretty good that James Jones will be a part of this franchise. And if they ever hoist a trophy, he will be in that picture.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm buying his involvement in the organization. I know there are a lot of rumors going around about Isaiah Thomas's involvement and what James's role actually is, but I think that's just naturally going to happen because Ishbia and IT are friends, because IT is constantly on the sidelines and around him. And also just because when you have an aggressive owner like that, and he's the new guy, and on his first day, he gets Kevin Durant, and his first offseason, he gets Bradley Beal, there's going to be this natural inclination to kind of shade over more towards Mat Ishbia handling the situation himself, which I don't think is entirely fair. Obviously, Mat Ishbia is opening doors that maybe James never could walk through before under the prior regime, because now he's got a budget to work with that's, $60 million higher in team salary than it was a year ago. Like, that's incredible. We talked about this on the show yesterday, the fact that Ishbia was willing to give these guys 2 years deals on the vet minimum with a player option at his own personal expense, because that money is no longer being reimbursed by the NBA based on the vet minimum, reimbursement on that salary cap hit. Now he's taking that upon himself, plus the luxury tax fees that come with that kind of investment. This is the type of budget that James Jones has not had to work with.
I didn't really understand that so much yesterday when that news came out, and I was like, wait. But then I thought about it more, and I was just like, I might be saying something that you all already understood, but I'm going to say it out loud anyway, just in case you didn't. The fact that they gave him 2-year deals basically told every single person, like, listen, even if you fuck up in year one, you still got year two if you want to try and make it up. You got 2 shots to get yourself a phenomenal contract after this. And I think that's what sold a lot of those guys.
Yeah, the player option. And you gotta wonder, and I'd imagine it probably was James's idea, understanding the mentality of players and having worked as a player rep.
As a minimum vet guy.
Yeah.
It does say in the article that option was presented to him, because there were the two pathways that they could go this summer, try to get a star, try to go for depth. Ishbia said he wants both. So the way to do that, to get veteran minimum guys to build out the depth, is to go with the 2-year options.
He was like, this or this?
It was, I mean, it's like that meme. Why not both?
Yep, exactly. So
but you gotta like that though. He's like, let's get creative. And I love that Jones helped do that. But you brought up Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
And there's been a lot of talk about him, and it came up again in this article that IT's been around. He was there at Summer League sitting with James Jones, and Windhorst asked Ishbia directly during their interview, and Ishbia again responded, quote, "As I said the day I was introduced, Isaiah is a friend and has no formal role. If that changes, we will announce it." Okay? So it's kind of the boilerplate, but I feel like if that changes, we'll announce it is doing a lot of work in that in that quote. And I say that because I heard from some sources that there's a belief. My sources are telling me that there's a belief that Isaiah Thomas will be named general manager of this team sooner rather than later. So that's, again, I think we all feel that may be where this is headed, but the continual denial is interesting to me.
Man, this is fascinating. I don't even know what part of this is more fascinating. The fact that I know that Suns land is going to have such vitriol towards this if it does come true, or the fact that we basically been shown that he's a part of the organization for the last 6 months without being told that he's like. I don't know, man. It's kind of like, your girl hanging out with the same guy over and over again. At some point, you just like,
You don't have to worry about him. Nah, you don't have to worry about him. Don't worry.
He's just a friend.
Hey, just a friend. Don't worry. We text a lot. I ask his advice, but you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
I still remember.
Damn. That's rough.
Sorry,
no,
I was
I
that
mean,
guy, Saul.
I think, and we talked about this on the show yesterday, what he told Dwayne Rankin in AZ Central, very similar to this, in terms of there's no official role for him at this time. I get input from a lot of people that are close to me, a lot of basketball minds, in terms of the Bradley Beal trade and some of these other major moves. He wasn't consulted officially. So we'll see. Again, it's been consistency. Everything that he said from day one has been consistent, but it does feel like even the first day we asked him that he was leaving the door open for IT to transfer into an official role at some point. We don't know when that will be, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was introduced in that way.
Folks, you've seen the pictures at Summer League. You see the pictures courtside at Suns games. It's just really hard to look at that and be like, he's not. First of all, he doesn't even live in Arizona. So what is he doing here in the first place? Like, come on, just put 2 and 2 together.
As Hello says, you got what I need. You say he's just a friend.
Oh, boy.
Hey, he's not just a friend. I think this is going somewhere. I'm going to refer to Isaiah Thomas as the Shadow from now on, because he is running the Shadow front office for this franchise, and I will continue to pound that table until he's officially announced. So, but internal matters are kept internal. Just
very, very true. Also, I just want to go back to this one more time. Black Sunday, thank you for joining us. I can't wait for your $100 to be in my bank account, because he's definitely going to the Clippers. I'm just telling you.
That's James Harden, of course. As Gamble, I'm sure you guys talked about it yesterday, but shot down the Harden rumor and made sure it was very clear that the PG thing was all a fugazi, just a whole make-believe exercise there that somebody came up with. What's not make-believe is the fact that there are new Suns working out with the Summer Suns. We talked with Eric Gordon in Vegas. We also knew that Keita Bates-Diop was out there. Well, they both wound up going out there and working out with the team yesterday. You saw it on Suns Twitter, and we got the video here. These guys can hit some shots, huh, Gerald?
Yeah, that's what they're being brought in to do. Love it. Love to see it.
Wow.
Look at hashtag
Look at that.
analysis.
Uncontested wide open jumpers being made. Who thought that could happen
by
in
an
this?
NBA player. No, but it is good, and we've talked about this before. Like, it's good to see Suns players in Vegas getting to know each other. Like, on the sidelines for the last game before we left, we saw Eric Gordon, we saw Bradley Beal, Cam Payne, Ish Wainwright. Well, he's not a player. But all of these guys starting to get to know each other, and every single one that I talked to has already had conversations with dinner. With Frank Vogel, Cam Payne was saying he and Vogel got dinner, and they've had conversations. So this is all part of the feeling out process, the learning process, getting to know each other. So it's pretty cool that they're able to get some workout in, and like we keep talking about, they always bring in guys that are hoopers, that are about the work. So this is just more proof.
I spoke to Eddie Johnson today on our show, and he created a phrase that I'm not going to let go. I'm all for it. What you saw there was just an example of butt naked jumpers.
Oh, butt naked jumpers! What a great band name.
He said,
I don't like that.
He said, and I quote, "The way KD, Beal, and Booker are going to play, all those dudes are going to get some wide open butt naked jumpers."
Does that not sound like a band name, Gerald? I feel like that's a T-shirt, a band T-shirt.
We're going to make the shirt, man. I want some wide open butt naked jumpers.
The butt naked jumpers.
That's
that is
man.
wild.
That's happening.
Their first album release, Nothing But Net. All right.
Oh, man.
Wow, butt naked jumpers. All right. Also, we gotta get Kata some sun shorts. He was wearing.
Those were sun shorts.
No, he's wearing.
If he
These are
turns to the side,
those are Spurs shorts.
They have the sunburst on the side when he
no,
turns to the right.
that's the other guy. There's 3 people shooting in that, isn't there?
I'm pretty sure.
Run the video again, Emma. Let's look.
Look when he turns to the
I'm
right.
almost positive.
There's Suns. Nope, there's a Suns.
Suns
Is there?
right
Oh
there, right?
my
Yeah.
god.
Ooh,
Okay.
in the face.
You're right. All right. Well, good thing I didn't bet you $100. That would have been stupid. But you know what? I gotta call my guy Jay over there and say, why do we got shorts that look like the Spurs shorts? Maybe they just slapped a Sun sticker on one of his Spurs shorts.
I don't care. I want those shorts now.
Yeah.
We've got a new partner here at PHNX, and Saul, I know it's a group that you've partaken in, our friends over at Wink. You want to tell us a little bit about it? Because I have not had the opportunity to try this, but it's high on my list for next week.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a THC drink, a seltzer. It's nice and crispy. They have a lot of different flavors. Mango, tangerine. They have lemon lime. They have blueberry. It's fantastic. 2.5 milligrams, so it's not going to get you like schnockered. That word? I don't know.
It is now.
It is now.
Butt naked jumpers while you're snockered.
Let's go. So, I mean, it's a nice blend of THC. Like I said, it's a seltzer. And you can get your stuff by checking out drinkwink.com. That's WYNK, or countdowndrink.com to utilize their drink finder to locate a store near you. You can also order them directly online, Wink only, and only 2.5 milligrams per can. I'm telling you, folks, sometimes you don't, you're not trying to get high, you're not trying to, but you're in the middle of the day, maybe you're a little antsy, maybe you got a little anxiety. Hey, you take a little drink of that, you're good to go. You know what?
It's not going to fix your anxiety. A Loca-Cola from our friends over at Circle K. That'll hype your anxiety up, but Circle K will take care of you in general. The best gas that we have out here, they've got great prices on that. Plus...
You went with gas?
I did go with gas.
The best gas.
Because I heard
the best gas of all the gas.
Because I've heard you get to hear Saul Bookman's voice now when you go get some gas.
The best gas experience.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can
The way that was phrased.
pump better than ever before with Circle K.
Getting worse.
The cheapest butt naked jumpers available. But you know what? They got great snacks. We stopped there on our way to Vegas.
As soon as he said gas, I looked at Gerald.
I got myself a Loca-Cola, 4 Loco, and one of their great frosters, a Coke and cherry Coke, but they got iced coffee for $1.89. 12 packs of beer starting at just $9.99. You can get all sorts of things that'll give you gas too, if that's where you're going for. But make sure you're not missing out on all this great stuff. Right now, text PHNX to 31310 to join the SMS subscriber club and get a buy one, get one free offer on a 32-ounce Polar Pop. And believe me, with how the weather is right now, you got to get something nice and cool to drink. Head to CircleK.com/store finder to find a Circle K near you, or just drive to the closest corner because there's likely a Circle K there. And then our friends at Shady Rays, I was talking about the weather. Yeah. It is bright out there. It was bright in Vegas. And if you need to get, your eyes taken care of, you need those sunglasses in the worst way, they've got the best. They are built to last. And if you use that code PHNX, you're going to get 50% off 2 pairs or more. They're the best independent sunglass company with world-class products. They've got the best warranty on any sunglasses you're going to get out there. I lose my shit all the time in anger and in actual stuff that I misplace places. And if you lose them, they'll take care of you. Or if you break them, they'll take care of you. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. As I said, go to shadyrays.com, use the promo code PHNX, and you're going to get 50% off of 2 pairs or more of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. You can't be wrong with that many people being right.
Also, we are not going to talk shit about Four Loko people, because the Four Loko people actually did respond to Espo's tweet.
They did.
And hell, they might end up being a sponsor of ours, and we're down for it. We're all about paint thinner, Four Loko, whatever you want to call it. It's fantastic. Also, Black Sunday in the chat. He's kind of trying to tug at my heartstrings. I don't know if he knows me, but he's talking about he wants to collect his money at Papado.
Oh.
And guys, you know how I feel about Papado. So Black Sunday, I'll tell you what, right now, you and me, whoever wins, we exchange cash at Papado, down for it.
Why not just Papado gift cards? I mean, that's not a bad idea either. That's I
want my $100.
Oh, well, that's 2 good meals over at Papado.
I want to look somebody in the eyes as they have to hand me money in my hand. Give me that shit.
You know who looked James Jones in the eyes when he got guaranteed $6 million this summer? Cam Payne. And we had a chance to catch up with him out there at Summer League. Gerald doing the Lord's work and getting all these guys out there at Summer League. Let's hear from Cam Payne and what it means to be back with the Suns for him.
A lot of big moves for the Suns this offseason. Just how are you feeling about the Bradley Beal addition and all the new guys you've got?
I'm just looking forward to it. Man, our roster looks amazing, man. I'm just ready to get on the court and honestly get started, especially with the new coaches as well.
All right, how have you been connected with Frank Vogel so far?
It was cool. We had dinner last night. Worked out in front of them the other day as well. It's been pretty cool. He cool. Seeing like he for the players, he a champion. We played against him, so like it's gonna be pretty cool to see like the tricks of the trade he got to bring to the organization.
What do you think of the rookie so far?
He hooping. He looked like he got almost all the points in the first quarter, but he doing his thing, man. He gonna be a great addition for us. I like his size, and I mean he a lefty, so I love that too.
How exciting is it to have as a ball handler all these different ball handlers like Bradley Beal, like Eric Morgan as well?
It's big time, man. It kind of just shakes up the game. Kind of like keeps teams guessing. Can't give them a steady dose of the same thing. And it's also a press reliever. I can play off the ball. They're going to draw a lot of attention, so I get a lot more open shots.
I know how excited you are to be in the Valley, how much it's meant to you to be here. What are your thoughts heading into the season? How exciting is it to have this type of time here?
I know the Suns, man, waiting on the championship, and look like we on that right path right now, and I just hope we can bring one to the Valley.
I like how you looked at the camera and was like, I just hope we can bring one to the Valley.
Yeah.
Bing.
No, that's awesome. It was good catching up with him. He was, like I said, about all these guys, they're in the middle of hanging out with their teammates, talking to much more important people than us. So it's always nice of them to give us a few minutes of their time and answer a few questions during the off season when they don't have to worry about doing all this type of stuff.
It's a lot easier for him this offseason, though, than last, where there were no moves and everybody's asking, oh, is KD going to get traded? Now they could be like, yeah, look at this squad we got. We're excited. So a lot easier for him to talk about. But let's take a look at Cam Payne in 2023-24. Where do you guys see his role? Because I've heard a lot of different things. Some people suggest he could be in the starting lineup. I had a few national media guys suggest that might be the route that they should go. Some have even said he could be the third string point guard on this team, with Jordan Goodwin getting minutes ahead of him. Where do you see Cam Payne fitting in?
I don't see him as the starting point guard for sure. I think what you're looking for Cam Payne is that 6 to 8 minute mark of the first quarter coming in, supplanting either Bradley Beal or Devin Booker, depending on how they want to work their rotation this year. Devin Booker will start off as the point book, I think, in conjunction with Bradley Beal and KD. And I think that's what Cam Payne's role is going to be. And Cam Payne, you're looking for just to kind of supplement things from maybe the middle of the second, the middle of the first to the middle of the second, and then you bring back that trio again to finish off each half. That's kind of what I would look at. So the beginning and end of each half, you would have that trio no matter what. And Cam Payne would be everything in between on both halves. So he would be the backup guard, whatever way you want to fit him in.
Yeah, assuming he is still on the roster, I agree with Saul. I don't think you start him, because if you're going to start a player who plays point guard, it needs to be a point of attack defender. And as dedicated as Cam is to that end of the floor, he's not the type of point of attack defender they would need, like a Josh Okogie or a Jordan Goodwin even. I don't think he'll be the third string guy. I still think Goodwin has a lot to prove. They're going to have these battles in training camp. Obviously, I don't think anything is guaranteed outside of, the core four guys that are going to be starting in terms of role. But I do think that his ability to play on or off the ball will help him. Like I asked him, he's excited to play with other guys that can do that. Obviously, we know Book and KD, but Bradley Beal can do that. Eric Gordon can do that. There's a lot of versatility because all of these guys are spot up threats, and all of them can put the ball down and attack and dish if need be. So I think there is a place for Cam Payne in this lineup if he's still on the roster. Frank Vogel has talked highly of him. He left the door open for him to win the starting job even. I don't think that'll happen, but he definitely has a place on this roster. And I think playing around so many efficient threats will help with his versatility on and off the ball.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on which version of Cam Payne you get too, because if it's the 2021 Cam, that guy has a role and an important role with this. If it's the guy we saw last year at times, you have to wonder where that'll kind of play out. But I do love that he can play at a fast pace, and I think this team is going to have to do that more often than not to really put other teams in a bad position defensively and wear them out over the long run.
I totally agree with that. Also, I think there's another aspect of Cam Payne that we completely overlook in a little too much, especially with this team. Because if you go down top to bottom on this roster, you have a lot of. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to see KD and Booker in this light, but they're not the most like energetic guys. You know what I mean? Like they're not coming in like, hyping their teammates up a lot. They're pretty reserved in that regard. They'll talk shit, don't get me wrong, but they're not really like the rah guys, right? And every team needs a couple of those dudes that just kind of, hey, let's go. Keep your head up. Let's go. Keep going kind of guy. Cam Payne's definitely that individual, right? DA can be that individual as well when he's feeling good. And you lost a couple of those guys in the offseason. So I think Cam Payne definitely has a role for that if he's like Gerald said, if he's still on the roster by that point. Because again, when Cam Payne is on, I mean, there's not too many other guys out there that give you a lift quite as much as Cam Payne, because his kind of nature, by the way he goes about it used to be McHale that did that. He would do the three stuff or you get hyped up. Cam Payne would also do that in conjunction with him. Now it's just Cam Payne. And when Cam Payne's on a roll, like you feel it through watching the TV, like, yeah, talk that shit. You know what I mean? You get hyped up. So, I think for his team, that's a good thing.
Yeah. And the struggle for him over the last year or so has been bottling up the energy that he brings and the change of pace, the speed that he brings to the table while still making good decisions. That was something that Monty talked about a lot, and Cam Payne talked about as well, was trying to find that right balance between bringing that element, that electricity to the court, but also not making mistakes and not taking bad shots. And that's going to be as important as ever with this group now moving forward, because he does have a lot of superior scoring options around him. He has a lot of more efficient shooters flanking him. So when he comes in, his job is going to be to set the table a lot more than it's been in the past. This is a guy that averaged 10.3 points in 20.2 minutes per game, but it's because he was taking 9.4 shots. So like he wasn't very efficient the last 2 seasons. He was super efficient that breakout year that he had the season before. I think now the challenge for him is going to be, okay, how do I take advantage of the driving lanes that maybe I'll have because of the people that are around me? And also, how do I set up guys who are a little bit more efficient scorers than me? And that's going to be on Frank Vogel and him to kind of navigate that together.
Let's address the elephant in the room when talking about Cam Payne. Don't look at me when I say there's an elephant in the room, all right?
I think he looked at the ceiling.
I looked at the ceiling first.
Then you looked over at me.
You. I was like,
Jake Fischer of Yahoo Sports, who I saw personally at Summer League and really just looks like a Walmart version of Nick Wright, but that's neither here nor there. He had a rumor.
Way to build relationships.
Hey, he turned us down for an interview, so I'm just I'm going
just
there.
Scorch him, huh?
Yeah, I don't think he's watching. Let me say that. He had a rumor today in his piece on Yahoo Sports. It was kind of throwaway last few paragraphs. He said, the Pacers have been mentioned in another possible trade discussion this week. Phoenix has continued to explore trade scenarios revolving around Cam Payne, which is really their one tradable asset if you're not going to move DA, and that the name TJ McConnell has been on the Suns' radar for a while, and it could be a 3-team deal involving the Knicks. I checked in on this and was told that there is no way that Indiana is going to trade TJ McConnell to the Phoenix Suns. But how do you guys feel on it? What are your thoughts on potentially moving Cam?
Well, if we're talking about TJ McConnell, I mean, you know how I feel about TJ McConnell. Listen, whether TJ McConnell has got a unique game because he's one of the few guards in the NBA that just does everything at as a high level as he can. He brings a lot of energy every single game. He doesn't back down to defender or to other players, and he gets his teammates involved. He's as good a teammate as you will ever find in sports, period. I saw it at U of A. I've seen it while he was in the league and now with the Pacers. Like he has that DNA with the 76ers is the same way. Like he's got that about him, okay? And he's consistent. And so I do like TJ McConnell. But again, the logistics of this make it very difficult to pull off. We did talk about, however, a few weeks ago, we talked about the Orlando trade scenario for DA and the Indiana trade scenario for DA. And both of them did not include a point guard at the time. And one of the key parts of those trade deals was the Suns wanted a guard in return. The Suns wanted TJ McConnell from the Pacers, and for the Orlando Magic, it was any plethora of the guards that they have over there. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for possible avenues for DA, you're looking at a potential scenario where Miles Turner would be involved, which has been rumored a million times over since last year, in order to get TJ. I don't think that's happening. I think Frank Vogel is pretty much set and locked in on DA, but you never know. Again, EJ today, we talked about it, and he said he doesn't think the Suns will make a big move because, the Harden rumors and stuff like that, unless something just knocks their socks off. Well, maybe that's the thing that knocks their socks off. Miles Turner, another player, and TJ McConnell for several Suns players, including DA.
I feel like that would be a mid-year kind of thing if you don't feel like it's clicking quite the way you need it to. I don't know. I don't see them moving DA at this point, but that's just me.
Yeah, it could be something you revisit later in the season. Obviously, in Vegas, we saw Frank Vogel talking to Rick Carlisle, to former Pacers coach, current Pacers coach, and we have it on good authority that Carlisle is a fan of DA's. Yep. We're not saying that they were talking about trades or anything like that, but
Frank Vogel's like, "Can I interest you?"
But they have a good relationship, obviously. The thing is, like, Payne for McConnell doesn't work straight up because since the Suns are above that second luxury tax apron now, they can only take up to 110% of Cam Payne's salary back. Cam Payne's making $6.5 million, so they can only take $7.15 million in return. McConnell makes $8.7 million. If you add in Ish Wainwright's $1.9 million team option, that works financially. And those second round picks that the Suns acquired in their recent Isaiah Todd trade could come into play there. But Fischer also mentioned a multi-team scenario with the Knicks, who are looking for multi-team trades involving Evan Fournier. For those wondering,
Don't Google it.
Yeah, don't Google his name. For those wondering, Jordan Goodwin was a recently traded player, so he can't be put in Ish Wainwright's place until 2 months have passed. So that would be August 22nd. It could be a bigger trade with DA if something happens, but for right now, a one-on-one trade doesn't work. And I don't know that the Pacers would be interested in that. I know that for the Suns, like I think McConnell maybe fits what you're looking for in that backup point guard role a little bit better as a table setter. He's a guy that averaged fewer points than Cam Payne, but took 3 fewer shots last year. He's more of a defensive presence, and he's a better playmaker, table setter in that way. And he's a lot more efficient as a shooter. So even though he's getting less shots, he's making the most of them. And I feel like that's the type of thing that you really want with this group because you have superior options all around you.
2 things I want to bring up. Number one, some people are saying in the chat, the 15th, which is the day after the 14th for you math majors.
Calendar 101.
For all you master counters out there.
Is the DA deadline. Okay, so we will pass that. Number 2, I'm just going to throw this out there because, I just say what I sees. Frank Vogel and Rick Carlisle, we're having a lot of conversation next to us at, courtside at Summer League. I'm just saying.
Vogel's probably like, have you tried this place in Indy? I know you were there before, but did you like this food? Because
you think that's the go-to? Yeah. Rick Carlisle's been in Indiana forever.
Yeah, I know, but they're probably trading notes on, well, what do you think about Indiana? And this
almost
and that?
overrated? Probably.
Yeah,
sure.
Like, do you actually think the Colts can do anything this year? I don't know, but I highly doubt that Vogel and him were sitting there next to you guys talking trade deals.
They were sitting literally right next to Shane.
Right next to him.
Yeah, they were not discussing. They're like, hey, let's sit near the media and talk about a trade deal.
You don't
know.
No,
they were not.
They certainly weren't talking about Indiana restaurants.
I will say this. I'm pretty sure DA was in Vegas. And we didn't see him at any of the Summer League games.
How do you know he was in Vegas?
Well, because there was a Puma event out in Vegas, and they did a Puma launch of his new shoe. And then his brother on Instagram was in Vegas. So I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. I don't have it on.
Did you see the
sources.
drop, the commercial drop?
No.
I mean, he couldn't even be bothered to leave his house. It was just in his backyard.
So I don't have that on good authority. I'm just connecting some dots. But if we're going to stir shit with, well, they were talking together within earshot of Gerald, and Gerald didn't hear him mention trade. Like
everybody's within earshot. You just got to keep your voice low. That's what you got to do.
You know what helps me keep my voice low?
Clearly not Indiana food restaurants.
Food poisoning?
Oh. That is correct, but also our friends at OGs, they calm me down. I get in a different headspace.
How did that go for you this last weekend, huh?
I didn't hit the OGs this past weekend.
Oh,
I didn't. I did not partake this weekend in OGs because I did not.
Stuff.
I was not with Saul. I was not with Saul on the concourse, and I did not
true.
feel safe. With Emma watching me on the concourse.
Yeah, Lindsay definitely was not going to. She was going to throw you to the wolves.
Yeah, she was like, hey, out that way to the desert. Have fun, Espo. Bye. So I did not have you as my Sherpa, my guide.
See that water out there? Yeah, go out there. It's just a mirage.
So I did not partake on the concourse, but I will be here shortly because I want to try the new flavor and the Happy Balance. 2 things I have not tried yet with OGs, but I'm really excited to do it. They've got some of the best flavors out there in the business, but if you want to try them out, and I highly recommend that you do, find them at your local dispensaries or at ogsbrands.com. Must be 21 or older to enjoy, and enjoy responsibly. And you know what I love when I've had some OGs?
What?
Some Illegal Pete's, because I am hungry as all hell when I'm high, and Illegal Pete's has some of the best food out there, best Mexican food in the Valley. Happy hour specials also. And look, it's not patio season, but they got a great indoor space at Illegal Pete's where you can get some great beers, some great food, and you take advantage of their happy hour from 3 to 6 every day. And they've got the bowls, the tacos, the salad, the burritos, the nachos, anything you want that's Mexican food. They got it, and they get it to you quick, and it's delicious. Stop in either their Tucson or Tempe locations for a house beer bucket for you and your whole crew. 5 pints for $15. That's a hell of a deal. Soak up the sun with a loaded burrito and crisp beer. It says on the patio, I don't recommend that right now. 119 degrees, probably not patio weather right now, or good for your beer or your burrito, but their indoors is great. So Illegal Pete's, your go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beer. And if you love beer, our friends at Four Peaks have you covered. They've got so much going on and some of the best beers in the Valley. I know that they're distributing all the items to teachers right now. It's a great cause that they work with. I love that they do that for teachers. If you want to try one of their tea shop beers, you got to go out there and try it. Saul, is it one of your favorites? It is one of mine, but I don't remember. Is tea shot yours, or what's one of your favorite beers?
It is my favorite.
All right, good. I just wanted to confirm it. I was going to say it was, didn't want to lie to the good people. So check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. Let's do something fun.
Okay.
Hey.
I know you guys had a detox epised yesterday.
Yeah, kind of.
At least that's what the graphic said.
Yeah.
I didn't listen. All right, I'm just going to be honest.
That's fine. You had your head in the toilet.
Yeah, your voices weren't going to be the soothing thing I needed while not feeling well. But I thought, we've recovered a day from Vegas, and now it's time to do a draft of the worst things about Vegas. The order is going to be Gerald, me, and Saul. You get the whip around pick. I get kind of screwed here, stuck in the middle.
Awesome.
Gerald, what is the worst thing about being in Vegas? What's your first pick?
Man, there's so many options that you could go with as the number one pick here. I'm just going to go with general hangovers. Every day that you wake up in Vegas, you feel like you are going to die. And maybe that's just a lack of self-control that goes hand in hand with it in that city, but it's always present in Vegas. And then you have to rally, so that makes it even worse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the electronica music that is everywhere, because all you're hearing is
noise.
And inevitably my head just started doing this and everything, bobbing my head and everything we're doing. So I'm going to say that constant music is
That's such an old man thing to say.
You can't ever get peace and quiet in Vegas.
No.
This is true, except in your room.
Yeah, well, even then,
Well,
if you
yeah.
get the
Yeah.
day club below, you feel it reverberating on the windows.
That's true. I'm going to say losing your money.
Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, I feel like that's one of the worst things about Vegas is losing your money. And then, the second one. Now I'm starting to lose it. Let's go with, the old casinos that are starting to, the old casinos, they're like, why would you even go there? Why would you even bother? Like, they got some the old shows.
Okay.
Like nobody's trying to go watch David Copperfield anymore. Like, come on, man.
Man, just throwing David Copperfield under the bus. My second pick is going to be the half-naked people that shouldn't be half-naked.
So the performers on Fremont Street.
Yeah, did you? There was a dude the first night in kiss face makeup, no shirt, assless chaps.
Oh, man.
What in the actual hell is going on there? And this was not a person that should be an assless chaps.
I mean,
all
I
right?
kind of like the freak show that you see out there.
Ah, man, I could do without it. Let's see. It's kind of similar to Saul, but like the fact that you can't get a meal in Vegas for less than like $50
Oh my
unless
God,
it's fast
yes.
food.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just do $50 meals for my next pick. Because even if you're not gambling and losing your money, you're still losing a lot of money just getting yourself food half the time.
That's true.
And then I got to go with the heat on top of that. Like, especially if you're going to be walking pretty much everywhere on the strip, it's unfortunate that we get out of the Phoenix heat in July for Summer League and walk right into the Vegas oven, because that just makes it tough to stay outside.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just going to say the smell. There is distinct Vegas smell that when you get all your clothes home, if you don't put them right in the washing machine, that smell just clings to it. So I'm going to say smell.
Okay.
I can't say the heat because that's just like here. So I'm
And
not gonna.
Gerald
I
just freaking took it.
Yeah, I know. There's a different reason why I was going to go with that.
Okay.
Okay, how about limited stay? Because of all the other factors that you guys are bringing up, like you can only be in Vegas for like 2 days.
It's got a 48-hour half-life,
Yes.
and then things get
then it gets a little wonky.
Then your
after that.
body rejects it.
Yeah. And then we'll just call them the pamphlet guys.
Ah, yes.
the stripper car.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't say
Yeah.
what they say.
Yeah, the pamphlet
Yeah.
guys. You know, we call them stripper cards or whatever. That's fine. But they're not strippers. I'm just saying.
Far less of them than there used to be, though.
Well, we
I will
weren't
say
all the
that.
way on the strip. That's why.
That's true. That is fair. Shoot. Well, I'm trying to think here. When you're looking at Vegas, so many of the
There's some
things,
good ones.
so many of the things are good when you do them, and not so much later in
Afterwards.
retrospect.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So
that's usually how bad decisions work.
this is very true. Man, this is tough because we've gone through a lot of the worst things about it. I'm gonna say the cocktails, because usually you pay $30 for it, and it's just not. It's watered down. It's not the quality.
Okay.
We went to a few places that had extremely good cocktails, but that's I think that is probably the one of the, because you spend so much damn money on it. If I spend that much money, I want it to at least taste good.
Right.
Like, I'm not just doing it so I can get drunk and taste a plastic bottle alcohol in it. I want the good stuff if I'm going to pay for it.
Yeah.
So
Let's see. So I got back-to-back picks to close mine out here.
Round this out.
Traffic on the strip is terrible. Like, if you try to, you either have to walk everywhere or you have to sit in an Uber for like 15 minutes longer than you normally would, because there's just so much traffic now, especially during summer league time. And my last one, this is tough because there's a lot of good ones. I'm going to go with just general dehydration. I feel like you never can find water in Vegas. You never drink water while you're there, because you're always sipping on a beer or a drink or whatever. And every time I get back from Vegas, like, my lips are chapped. I usually get sick. I just don't drink enough water in Vegas. And it feels like there's nowhere good to just like buy a bunch of bottled water and keep it in your room.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I hate the airport in Vegas. The Vegas airport sucks.
Really?
Yeah, in part because when you're leaving, you're just around a bunch of people that feel exactly like you.
Yeah.
There's still slot machines everywhere. It's impossible to get around the thing. And their security is a bunch of assholes. I can tell you firsthand from going through it the other day. So
I'm going to go with the fees. There's fees for everything: parking fees, resort fees. You have a fee that's attached to your bill. What they call us, like a surplus or something like that.
Surcharge?
A surcharge. Like, oh my gosh, all the extra additional fees that you have to pay just to go out, just to park, just to enjoy the casino. Like, my God, stop with the fees.
The two that I feel like I wanted to draft and just narrowly missed the cut for me were finding a bathroom in casinos.
yes.
Why is that 10 times harder when you're sober than it is when you're drunk?
Yes.
It's the most bizarre thing. I was like completely sober and I was like, where the hell is the bathroom
Because
here?
when you're drunk, anything could be a bathroom.
Especially
on Fremont Street.
Oh no,
Man,
I don't want to
I
get drunk
swear.
in Vegas with you again.
Every time we walked to a restaurant one of our last nights there, and every nook and cranny that you could think of to take a piss in, somebody had already taken a piss in that cranny. I'm like,
they taking
Jesus.
care of that.
It's terrible.
What was your other one?
The other one was the drive/flight home is always miserable. It's
Yeah.
always a terrible experience.
I think that one that will be on this list in the future is that Sphere. Really cool to see the first time.
Dude,
I think
you're hiding out of your
eventually
mind.
No.
I'm just gonna be like, stop. I don't need to constantly
love the
see some
Sphere.
weird ass
Oh
project
my
because you
God.
know inevitably they're gonna have ads for like DUI lawyers and shit on there.
They're not gonna do that.
Right now it's cool. Oh, it's a basketball. Now that is gonna be ads.
There's
or-
just no way.
I
they're gonna do
guarantee
that.
they're gonna do ads on that.
Oh my
thing.
gosh!
Somebody did tweet. Everybody loves the Sphere. It's all fun and games until somebody hacks it and puts porn on there. So-
Then they love it. No.
Oh my gosh! I couldn't even imagine.
but until that day, the Sphere is.
But
the
also
shit.
that Sphere is like they haven't even opened it yet, and they're not opening it until September. It's supposed to be a YouTube or not YouTube, YouTube concert series for like 25 shows, which is going to be awesome.
17,000 seats.
It's built for the acoustics. Like that's all it's going to be. They're not going to put basketball in there. They're not going to do anything like that. I'm excited for that.
I'm sure the arena itself will be spectacular. I just think the LED portion of it eventually I'll get tired of. So that's our show.
Why do we hate life?
In Vegas, it's pretty easy after 5 days to feel that way.
I thought it was still cool when we were leaving.
I did too. I did too, but I said eventually I think I'm going to find it annoying.
You must hate the Eiffel Tower too, huh?
Never mind. Anyways, especially the
He was
one in
gonna say it.
Vegas.
He was totally going to say
God
it.
bless. Land the plane.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Wait,
It's been
before you
another-
go,
no,
though,
it's been another.
before you go, you need to go to gophnx.com
right.
and become a diehard if you haven't already done so. We had a lot of diehards subscribe actually in the last month. We had, I think, a record month of diehards. You can be one of those guys or girls. Just come join us and get free merch. It's awesome. Plus 20% discounts on everything that we have to offer. Plus discounts on events that we have to offer. We have a takeover event for the D-backs going on here in a couple weeks. Like, it's just fun all the way around. So become a diehard. Check it out. Plus our PHNXlocker.com has gotten revamped. It's a nice new website. So
Much
you can check
easier
that
to
out.
use.
Much easier to use. And just by going to that, you save 10% off any merch that you want to get. So come on, be a diehard.
Well, and doing it supports us, and we love hanging out with you. We love being part of this community. So make sure to check it out. Plus, you unlock some of Gerald's premium content, which is the best stuff. He saves the best stuff for you diehard. So check it out. Let's get the hell out of here. He's Gerald Bourget. You can follow him at Gerald Bourget. He's Saul Bookman. You can follow him at Saul_Bookman. The show is at PHNX_Suns. And you can follow me at Espo. And remember, just because you hate buildings doesn't mean you hate everything else. Ahoy, ahoy.
Retro. Tell the Phoenix Metro. Megas in control and he ain't never gonna let go. PHNX though. Lindsey, Gerald, Espo. Saw past the ball. We here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me. I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G. No